Hello, Rockford friends. Tonight I am all about comfort food. It is cold and windy outside and nothing feels better than to get some good comfort food in your stomach. So tonight I'm cooking lasagna. And it's especially special to me because that was one of my dad's specialties, and in our family, whenever there was a special occasion, everybody always wanted me to make lasagna. So I'll show you a little bit. I'm making the sauce from scratch. So here's the beginning of it. So what we start here, we have our chopped veggies. So I have onions and green peppers. I'm going to be sauteing those. I'm sure I don't have garlic with me right now, so I'm going to use garlic salt as a substitute, but I will tell you that my dad never used fresh garlic. I don't know why, but he just never did. So I'll be using garlic salt instead. And then I have some ground beef that I'm gonna use. But you could use ground beef, you could use ground chicken, turkey. You could use a meat substitute. Any of those things would be awesome. So I'm gonna get the veggies started here. I'll throw my onions and green peppers in there. And as you can see, I've got my ground beef is in a separate pan. And for whatever reason, I've just always done it that way. So I guess that makes one more dirty pan, but I don't really like having the, I don't know. I just don't like the hamburger grease mixing up with my vegetables into my tomato sauce, the marinara. So here we go. I've got that started and we'll go from there. As you can see, I've got my onions and green peppers are doing great here. You can probably also see that they're a little bit browned. I personally really like that, so I'm good with that. The other thing so the next things that we have to throw in. Hi everyone. Next thing I'm going to be throwing in, I have diced tomatoes. So that goes in. Those are the Muir Glens. They're on sale this week. Can of tomato sauce. And last but not least, I have tomato paste. And you will notice that I'm using the Cadia tomato paste. And that is our high-value, low-priced organic option at our store. So I'm going to be stirring this all in, and all those onions and green peppers are going to mix in. I'm going to turn my heat down a little bit. It's starting to get too bubbly for the moment. All right, so here we go with that. All right, so I've got all of my tomato mixture in there. So I've got sauce, I've got paste, and I've got diced tomatoes in there. Next thing up are gonna be the spices. Okay, so I've got my sauce simmering nicely here, and my ground beef has all cooked off. What I did was I scooped it onto a plate with a paper towel to just drain some of the grease off of that. So a little bit less grease or oil in my sauce. But I just want to talk a little bit about spices. So I mentioned to you that I didn't have fresh garlic. Normally I would just saute fresh garlic, but if you have not bought bulk spices at our store before, here's what you want right here. So I have garlic salt, I have basil, I have oregano. And I want to tell you, I just bought these. The garlic salt I'm not sure about, but the oregano was, this was less than 25 cents. Same here with the basil, less than 25 cents. Now, you probably would go ahead and buy more and keep it in a container for yourself, but for me, for tonight, I was just buying what I thought I might need for it. So always check out our bulk spices. And if you haven't bought bulk before and you're a little nervous about, like, you're not sure what to do, our team members are so great. They will help you out. They'll show you, here are the clean scoops, here are the things where you label it, here's the number that you need to write on your label. So everybody's really helpful that way. So here is my sauce that I'll be using for my lasagna. And you can see it's a nice deep red. It's pretty thick. What you didn't see was I did add in some water here to let it have a little bit more liquid to it, because I have a certain texture that I like to have for my sauce that I put in. And so here's my ground beef. I'm going to put the ground beef in and then let it simmer for a little bit to get all the flavors mixed together. Next, you have to make the white cheesy layers that go in between the noodles and the mozzarella cheese and the sauce. So, let's see. I have 1 container of ricotta. So I'm gonna put that into my bowl. Now, when I was growing up, my dad, probably ricotta was too expensive or something, he always used cottage cheese. So there was quite a bit of liquid involved with that. So if you have cottage cheese, you could use cottage cheese instead of ricotta. And actually, you'll see I'm gonna be adding some milk into mine because when you use ricotta, there's not as much liquid involved. I was just putting in an egg. And then we also have some Parmesan that we need to sprinkle in there. And I don't measure it. There's a big chunk in there, I'm gonna get that out. So I don't really measure it. I just usually kind of sprinkle it in there. So, I don't know. Just enough. So here's my container. And there's so much cheese in there already that you don't really need to add a lot of Parmesan. So I didn't put too much in there. So you can see it's kind of turning a little bit yellow from the yolk of the egg. And you can see here too, this is kind of dry, not too liquidy. And if I want to be able to make it stretch for my 9 by 13 pan, then I'm gonna need a little bit of liquid in there. So let's see, I have a 1/2 cup in this measure. I'm gonna pour in probably, let's see, is that like, probably about 1/4 cup. And then I'm gonna see if that gives me the right texture because I want it to be able to spread nicely. So, let's see, so this is starting to get a little bit better. And put a little bit more in there because I want it to be able to spread throughout my 9 by 13. So here's what's left of the 1/2 cup of milk. So I just added it until I get it to a nice texture. That'll be easy for me to spread it and make it go further, a little bit further, I feel like. So here's what that looks like. And now I'm just gonna put a little bit more garlic salt, like salt and pepper in there. And we're just about ready to put it all together.